75% and above represents the highest vitality. 50% and above represents the second highest vitality. 25% and above represents the third highest vitality. 10% and above represents the fourth highest vitality. 5% and above represents the second lowest vitality. Less than 5% represents the lowest vitality. If you check close vitality representations against short vitality representations, you find that the explanations will remain almost the same. These are representing the groupings that are there and how you can calculate or you can explain the vitality that is available in the society. Now, let's look at the functional domains in language planning. William Stewart outlines 10 functional domains. Now, these functional domains are so explicit, and we have to attend to these as carefully as possible. In the first place, we have official language. This is a language that functions as a legally appropriate language as specified in the Constitution. It covers both political and cultural purposes on a nationwide basis. Then you have the provincial language. The provincial language functions as an official language for a geographical area smaller than a nation. For example, it could be just a province or just a region. A typical example is drawn from French in Quebec, in Canada. So French is just a regional language of Quebec in Canada. And Igbo is also a regional language of a certain region in Nigeria. In the same way, you can talk of Chitumbuka as a regional language in Malawi. So this would be referred to as provincial language. And that gives its position against the other languages. Then we have wider communication languages. A language for wider communication is the one that may be official or provincial and functions as a medium of communication across language boundaries within a nation, or sometimes within a province. For example, we have Hindi in India. Then we have Swahili in East Africa. These are languages of wider communication because sometimes they are not just limited to one region or one country, they cross over the countries of the regions. Then, let's talk about international language. This is a language that functions as a medium of communication across national boundaries. This is quite straightforward, very obvious. Take for example, English is an international language used in many countries of the world. And so you have Esperanto. Then let's talk about capital language. This one, capital language. Capital language functions as a prominent language in and around the national capital. That is, you consider what is the prominent language for a certain capital city of a certain country. For example, Dutch and French in Brussels. These Dutch and French are capital languages for Brussels because they are very popular, well spread in Brussels. In Malawi, at a very local example, you may take Chichewa as a capital language because when you get into Lilongwe, where we have the capital city, you find that many people speak Chichewa. So Chichewa is very prominent. As such, it may be referred to as a capital language. Then we have group language. And this refers to a conventional language among members of a single cultural or ethnic group. That's the language that is spoken by a certain group of people. Take, for example, Hebrew, spoken among the Jews. So Hebrew would be taken as a group language for the group of the Jews. In Malawi, if you get into Mzuzu market and you visit the tellers, you find that all of them, almost all of them, are articulating in Chiao. And therefore, Yao would be considered as a group language. At the same time, when you get to Taifa market, you find two prominent languages there. You find some people are communicating in Kiangonde. So Kiangonde as a language would be looked at as a group language. At the same time, there is also Kiswahili. Kiswahili, therefore, would be considered as a group language. That is what is very, very important around group languages. They represent specific groups of people that are using the languages. Now, let's consider the issue of educational language. Educational language functions as a medium of instruction in primary or secondary school on a regional or national basis. For example, Urdu as a language in West Pakistan. That means Urdu is a language for a big region in Pakistan, that is Western Pakistan. And also Bengali as a language in Eastern Pakistan. That is at a foreign level. But at a local level, you may find that we have similar examples. You have by policy that teaching and learning in Standard 1 to Standard 4 should start with the vernaculars of the people in that region or in that area. And therefore, you may find that we have educational languages like Yao in the Yao communities, like Tumbuka in the Chitumbuka speaking communities, like Chinkonde in the Nkonde speaking communities. And these therefore would be referred to as educational languages, as the policy stands for Malawi at the present time. Now, let's talk about school subject language. School subject language is a language that is taught as a subject in a school. For example, Latin and ancient Greek in English schools in the UK. So Latin is a subject language in the UK. Ancient Greek is also a subject language in the UK. Take, for example, at a local level, Malawi. People are exposed to Chichewa as a subject. So, Chichewa becomes a subject language in the country. Then we have literary language. Literary language functions as a language for literary or scholarly purposes. For example, the use of ancient Greek is literary and seriously for scholarly purposes. Then we have religious language. Religious language is one that is used for the ritual purposes of a particular religion, For example, Latin for the Latin Rite in the Catholic Church, and Arabic for reading of the Quran in the mosques. So these are religious languages. Now, let's look at the same things as for Robert Cooper, 1989. As for Robert Cooper, 1989, he has come up with 3 subtypes of official functions of language, in addition to Stewart's list. And these include statutory language, which is a language that a government has declared as official by law. Then there is also a working language, which is a language that a government uses as a medium for daily activities, that is, for communication in daily activities. And the third one is symbolic language, which is a language that is merely a symbol of the state. Cooper also adds 2 functional domains to Stewart's list. And these 2 functional additions are mass media and work. In conclusion, the status of a language is actually the position in view of functions relative to the other languages in a particular society. Status provides a language with power and authority, and also its importance is evident in its status. And the people who use such languages are also equally empowered by the status of a particular language. So if the language is given high status, it means the speakers also are given high status, because these go together. This is all we can talk about when we are looking at issues of language status. Thank you very much for your attention and your participation. Thank you very much. We meet next time. Thank you.